Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I just want to welcome everybody to Bank of America Stadium. And thank you all for coming today on behalf of Tepper Sports and Entertainment and me and Nicole. We're here today to continue to support the victims of Hurricane Helene. For me and Nicole, when we heard about Helene, and we do a lot of stuff around the country with hurricanes generally, we never expected it to hit the Carolinas like it did, and particularly Western Carolina. And we heard tell about the Manna Food Bank there, who was one of our partners who we've done things with before, being destroyed at first. And we got word from the Red Cross that this was a level 7 event, disaster event, which is, for those who don't know the levels, that was a Katrina level hurricane event. And it was a holy shit sort of moment. We got to do something right away, and there's no time to waste. So, we did what we had to do. And then when Luke's people called up and said, "We want to put this together, we like to do it fast." And I have to say, a monumental effort by these guys here to get it together in 3 weeks. Live Nation, AEG, Coke and Pepsi, so to speak, joining together to do this. MOS, a lot of different people involved to try to get this together in 3 weeks. And I just want to thank them all for doing that. So it was just in a way, it was an easy ask, because we really wanted to do it. And in a way, I think it was just a monumental task. It was done really fast and everybody cooperating. So again, thank you for everybody.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you all for being here. Thanks, everyone. Just quickly, the challenges last month have been profound, as you all know, and the resolve of the people across the Carolinas and the entire region has certainly been tested, as we all know, right? Dave and I continue to be inspired on how everyone has rallied together, and as he just touched on, we all really rallied together. It takes a village to get this done, and I feel like we all became like a little family since we've all met each other and been doing this in our team. So we stood alongside one another and we lent our hands to those in need, which is the most important. We are very appreciative for the artists tonight and graciously donating their time and talent to perform, we're all so excited. And thank you again so much for being here. Thanks, guys. Governor, everyone, thank you.
And thank you, Dave and Nicole, for being here and for all the support you've already provided and making this happen tonight. And we really appreciate Governor Cooper being here. Governor, I will pass it over to you.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Dave and Nicole, for your amazing generosity and for providing this venue for what's going to be a mission to help people in Western North Carolina. I'm here with the head of the governor's Western office, Drew Christie, and White House Security Advisor Liz Sherwood Randall, and our volunteers who have been working so hard to respond to the deadliest and most devastating storm ever to hit North Carolina. So far, we've lost 98 souls. We expect that number to rise some. We send deepest condolences to their families and communities. Probably about a little more than 100,000 people have had damage to their homes. Thousands of businesses have been damaged that have not opened yet. We have estimated the financial damages of this storm at $53 billion. And putting that in perspective, that's more than 3 times Hurricane Florence that hit North Carolina in 2018 that caused $17 billion in damage. To be here with 2 North Carolina treasurers in Eric Church and Luke Combs, and the work that they have done to pull together some of the finest talent in the world to perform tonight, to raise money for this worthy cause, is so important. I've spent a lot of time during the last 28 days in Asheville. I've been in 15 counties. I've been in some of the worst places. It is astounding what a raging river can do, uprooting large trees, bending steel girders, and demolishing buildings in bridges and roads in a way that's just unimaginable. But through all the devastation, you see the determination and the character of the people of Western North Carolina. Talked to a man who jumped in one of those raging streams and pulled out a woman, saved his neighbor. I talked to two young women who essentially turned a little bed and breakfast hotel into a place where an entire community in Black Mountain could come and get supper every night and could pick up supplies. I talked to a 911 operator who was on the job doing 12-hour shifts when her home had been decimated, doing her job. That's the kind of spirit that we have in Western North Carolina. All these guys know who those people are. They have the courage and the determination and the resilience to recover. But they're going to need our help collectively. They're going to need local government, state government, the federal government, the private sector, the volunteers, the nonprofits, all pulling together so that Western North Carolina can build back in a stronger way, more resilient way. This event tonight can make a real dent in that. And I'm just deeply grateful to be a part of this and to help continue pulling all of North Carolina together to get this done, because most every single one of you, I know everybody in North Carolina has memories of Western North Carolina. Very special place, places that you went and places you want to see restored. And in fact, it's like that all over the country. People who came to, President Obama was here just last night and talked about how much he loved Asheville and the barbecue, and he didn't say the beer, but I know he meant the beer. That's right. And so we know that Western North Carolina is internationally known, so we have a mission to make sure that it gets built back. So thanks everybody for being involved in this today. Vic, thank you for, because I know you're leading businesses. We passed legislation to continue to help with this, but we've got to do a lot more, and look forward to your continued input. But thanks so much.
Governor, thank you. And now we are going to hear from Vic Isley of Explore Asheville, and I echo what the governor said. Thank you so much for being here and really personifying that resilience of Western North Carolina.
Thank you so much. I just would like to say that it was really nice to take a shower last night. Like the rest of our community, Explore Asheville and the Buncombe County Tourism Development Authority have been heartbroken by the devastating personal, natural, and economic loss from Hurricane Helene that our region has endured over the last month. And we are heartened by the grit, gumption, and resolve of our Appalachian people. Our priority continues to be our residents, workers, businesses, regional, and first responders that have answered the call from all over the country, helping those impacted and addressing the economic and emotional toll at hand in Western North Carolina. Through this tragedy, though, the heart of hospitality has been a beacon of light. Restaurant owners cleared out their walk-in refrigerators and cooked free meals for thousands of residents and first responders. Lodging owners and operators without power, water, and very few staff opened rooms up for first responders that were working 24 to 48-hour shifts. Pools were drained for flushing water to maintain operations as best they could. Travel and hospitality has long been woven into the fabric of Western North Carolina. In Buncombe County alone, visitors to our area spent nearly $3 billion with a wide variety of local businesses, from restaurants and breweries that we all love, music venues and art galleries, tour outfitters, and experiences last year. Many of you know that October is peak season for the mountain towns of Western North Carolina. With these much-needed resources sustaining small businesses and therefore our residents, through the winter. Research has shown that 40% of small businesses never reopen their doors following disasters like this, and we aim to buck that trend. To do so, Explore Asheville, our nonprofit organization, created the Always Asheville Fund to provide emergency grants to small independent businesses to help them reopen and sustain jobs for residents. We ask folks across the country, as they are able, to contribute to support our deeply rooted creative community at alwaysashevillefund.com, because we all have a role to play. Together we will provide for our community, and together we're charting a pathway forward. Amid the heartache, there are rays of light like today. Now, the team at Explore Asheville had been in talks with Luke Combs' team for several months about ways to partner together with hometown folks who have big hearts. Little did we know that it would come in the form of Concert for Carolina. Within a week's time, Explore Asheville and the Tourism Development Authority pledged $1 million as the presenting sponsor for the concert. And thanks to these guys, 100% of the proceeds, including our sponsorship dollars, are coming right back into the communities of Western North Carolina to important partners like Eblin Charities, Manna Food Bank, Samaritan's Purse, and Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina. And Eric has Chief Cares, which will go to many other nonprofits to help Western North Carolina. Luke, Eric, and all the artists performing here in Charlotte tonight, their understanding of our needs and their willingness to help means everything to us. The outpouring of support from across the nation is really inspiring. And through this concert, significant resources will become available to help our communities rebuild. These programs remind us that when we work together, positive change is possible. So tonight, we are honoring Asheville and Buncombe County first responders with 100 tickets for themselves and their families. We're witnessing the gumption, the grit, and determination of this deeply rooted community to rise. Our comeback is coming in pockets and stages across Western North Carolina when and where it's safe to do so. Restaurants are reopening. Music venue marquees are lighting up. Art galleries are literally dusting off their craft, and trails are being cleared. Biltmore Estate plans to reopen November 2nd. Progress is being made slowly but surely and safely. Our local businesses and neighborhoods need your support. Please come see us respectfully, with heart, and with patience. And if you want to support small businesses from afar, you can go to exploreasheville.com and shop online with more than 600 local creators and makers through our Love Asheville from Afar page. We have immense gratitude for the heart, hope, and help that Eric and Luke and their teams have marshaled on behalf of Western North Carolina, including Asheville and Buncombe County. Today, people in Western North Carolina who just pull themselves up by their bootstraps are seeing that help can be hope. And we're here for it, because through it all, we are always Asheville. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vic. Vic was talking about the incredible outpouring of support for this concert. Luke and Eric, I'm wondering if you could talk about what that has meant to you to see everyone rally around this concert, and also what can people expect tonight?
I mean, just quickly, North Carolina is both of our homes. The small communities that specifically make up Western North Carolina are these strong, independent, proud communities. And I've said many times that they're the exact community that when the community next door is in trouble, you can count on that community to come help you. And in this situation, there is no community next door. It's all been destroyed. So what you're seeing tonight is we are the community next door. The people that are in this stadium are the community next door. And Luke called right after this happened, a day or two after, and said, you know, I want to do this, and I thought it was a great idea, and we started putting our heads together, because the most important thing, most powerful thing we have in this is the people that want to stay in their community, because that's how we build the community. We build it from the inside. So it's up to us to figure out a way to help them stay in the community where they are. So that's a lot of what tonight will be about with the Concert for Carolina.
Yeah, definitely agree with everything Eric says, and I remember sitting at home, and you know, obviously I live in Nashville now, and as does Eric, you know, and just wanting to help, wanting to figure out how I can, you know, be of service, how I can help the place that, you know, raised me and the place that I came from, and this is the way that I know how, and I knew that Eric would want to be involved in that. Obviously, my roots run deep in this part of the country, as do his, and you know, he was my first call. You know, there was no question that this was going to happen, come hell or high water, and the Teppers stepped up so massively. Thank you guys so much for allowing us to do this, and I just want to reiterate how much work has gone into us making sure that every single dollar raised for this show, I mean, they have donated this venue. SES has donated millions of dollars in production for this concert tonight to make sure that that money can go out to the people that need it most. Eric's team has been so great in working with my team, and you know, we each have a person that does each other's jobs, right? There's 2 tour managers, there's 2 stage managers, there's 2 production managers, and everyone has come together and made this such a special night, and I just can't wait to step out on the stage tonight and do what I do best, and see him do what he does best, and a lot of other great artists do everything that they know how to do to raise a lot of money for a lot of great causes. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you all, and thank you for all you're doing for this incredible cause. So now we have time for a few questions from all of you, questions that are related to the event today, and also for everyone who is joining us digitally. Please submit your questions. We are going to have time for one question from the digital audience. First, though, we are going to start here, and we are going to start from our friends WLOS TV out of Asheville. Thank you so much for being here, Ed. We'll start with you.
Luke and Eric. Oh, how about that? Luke, Eric, when you guys heard from your loved ones, people you still know in those areas that were going through Helene when it was happening, what kind of things were you hearing, and how does that make tonight and today different from any benefit you've ever done in your careers?
First off, shout out WLOS. That was my news growing up. So shout out to y'all for keeping me up to date on school closings when I was hoping the snow happened. But you know, I think that the thing that was really scary for me personally was that I didn't hear from anyone for a few days. Right, as you all know, cell service was down, internet was down for quite some time, still being affected in some ways, and so that was really shocking, right? Because you know, you're in the boat of, well, is everybody okay? You don't know. Thankfully, you know, everybody I know in the area I've now heard from, but that was when I think, you know, it hit me as the images started coming out. You're seeing things and you're going, man, this is really bad. And then when you start not hearing from people, or not hearing from everyone that you know, is when I was like, this is beyond what I even thought was, you know, possible in that area. I remember my parents telling me, growing up, you know, I was born here in Charlotte, lived here until I was 8, and then we moved to Asheville, and I remember asking my parents when I was a child, well, you know, why did we make the choice to move to Asheville? And my parents told me that, well, you know, nothing bad ever happens in Asheville. You know, I remember my parents telling me that, and, you know, there is no tornadoes, there is no hurricanes, there is no this, there is no that. It was this safe haven, and my dad always told me he loved the mountains so much because he felt so safe there. He felt like he was, you know, in some ways wrapped in a warm hug by the landscape, and to see something that you didn't think was possible was just very shocking.
Yeah, I would just follow that. I spend half my year, we live in Banner Oak, North Carolina, which is in Avery County. And these are my neighbors. These are my community members. And to see what happened where the Elk River came through there is just beyond anything that I could have ever imagined. So to echo what Luke said, the scariest part was the silence for a period of time when people were trying to get in touch with people, and we're still trying to find people. So I think that's the big devastating part. The biggest thing I think for Luke and I, most important part, is we continue to shine a light on this. This concert's a great way to do it, but these people are going to need help long after tonight and long after next month and long after 6 months. So it's about how can we continue to put this up front to make people be aware of what happened there and how we help the people there.
Question?
Hello, Courtney Davis with Spectrum News. For both of you, this concert is amazing. Everybody donating their time and effort and everything. All of the artists that have come out that wanted to donate their time to, and I've seen you guys were kind of the trendsetters with it. There's been so many other relief concerts that have come out of this that couldn't get on your list. How great is that, though, that so many people were inspired by what you guys did and wanted to do their own part to keep helping Western North Carolina?
It's great. I just have an inside story with the artists that are on this show. We both kind of went through our phones and tried to figure out who we could get to, and I had to get James Taylor. I have to hear Carolina in my mind in this stadium, okay? So I made it my mission, and I'm pretty sure after talking to James last night that I think I stalked him for a period of a week or two. And I had to go, I couldn't get his cell number, so I kept going through my phone to find who would know James Taylor. And I was talking on stage with him last night, and I hadn't told you this yet, but I walk up, and I had a friend of mine, Joe Walsh, who's in the Eagles, and I called him. And I was like, I need you to get a hold of James Taylor. And Joe didn't hit me back, so I hit him again, and then I hit him again. And finally, James told me last night on stage, he said, you really kind of freaked out, Joe Walsh. He said he finally called and said, you got to talk to this guy, and you need to play this show so he'll leave me alone. so at least for tonight, it was about both of us kind of calling who we could call and who would help. But I don't know why I told you that. That was just an inside story there.
Yeah, it's I'll follow up that story with a great story of my own. We talked on the phone a lot, more than we ever have, and I remember him. He said, "We're so close to getting James Taylor. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get in touch with him." And this went on for the better part of a week, and I had no doubt in my mind that he would get it done. And we did. And someone had reached out to me and said, "Hey, James would like to get in touch with you." And they said, "Just text him before you call him." And I said, well, I'm not calling him. I mean, what am I going to say to James Taylor? What am I going to add to his life in any way? So I sent him this really long text, thanking him for being here, how excited I was to hear him play and what a fan I was and what his music meant to me. And he texted me back and said, hey, yeah, man, I'm really excited to be at the show. And he said, your bass player and your keys player are going to play in my band. So that's how I heard that my bass player, my keys player, probably not my bass player, my keys player anymore. So I ran into those guys last night, and I had texted them, and I said, "You guys are playing with James Taylor, man. Like, what? You guys couldn't tell me?" And they were like, "How did you find out?" I was like, "From James Taylor. That's how I found out." And so then I was like, "Man, when Eric called, Eric told me he called Joe Walsh, and Joe Walsh didn't know how to get in touch with James Taylor."
He wouldn't share the number with me.
I
think
wouldn't
he
share it
knew,
with
yeah.
you. But James actually reached out via email to my bass player and my keys player, and I was like, dude, you guys are more important to James Taylor than the Eagles are, dude. That's pretty sharp. So, but no, I'm just glad to be able to help. I'm glad we were able to get this done. I'm so glad for anything that any other artist is willing to do, and there's so many things that we don't hear about. I think if we had the opportunity, this concert would be starting in an hour and would be going until tomorrow morning. So to any artist that didn't get on, I apologize for that. It's been a complete melee of communication and planning and these things. A show like this usually takes a year or a year and a half to plan, and we were able to get it done in 3 weeks. And so we're thankful thankful for tonight and thankful for anything that anyone has done, whether it's with this show or on their own. I look forward to hearing about those concerts and maybe helping out with those too. So that would be great.
We're all going to be thinking about that when James Taylor takes the stage later tonight. Another question? Go ahead.
Hello, Kara Peters, WXII in Winston-Salem. A question for you both. The governor mentioned earlier the spirit of Western North Carolina, and we can only imagine that there will be a lot of different emotions tonight. What do you hope those that may return to Western North Carolina, that may have loved ones, friends, what do you hope they walk away from tonight?
I mean, I think for me, there's two things. One is that the help that they need in the area, we're trying to raise money to help with the recovery. And two, for all the people that have been working up there, it's a little bit of a taking a breath and having a night where for one night we can all look at the power of music and the power of coming together and how special that is, and the things that are being done tonight, I hope would show that how much the state supports them and how much we're going to stand by them. But I think there is an element there where just to take a pause from how the destruction and the devastation, and to have a moment of trying to have a revival of what we're trying to do musically and throughout raising money with Concert for Carolina.
Yeah, I would agree with Eric. You know, I would say that I hope people know that we're doing everything in our power to do what we know how to do best to raise as much money as we possibly can. I think one of my favorite things being done is, you know, through our partners at Veeps who are putting on the live stream, they were able to geofence the entire area that's been affected by the hurricane, and those people get to watch the stream for free. So I just want those people to be able to know that they have a night where they can, you know, if they have access, turn it on. I know Thomas Wolfe Auditorium in Asheville is allowing people to come in and watch the show for free. And
We have 3,200 people coming.
nice.
Free
oh, man,
for
that's
that
awesome.
concert.
Yeah, I love hearing that, and just being able to give those people an hour, 2, 3 hours of joy and hope and happiness, you know, amidst so much chaos and tragedy and loss is something that I'm really, really proud of.
That's amazing. We have time for one last question. Go ahead.
Hi, Audrey with Fox News Digital. I'm wondering if you guys have any personal stories about growing up in Western North Carolina that come to mind when you see the destruction that's happened after Helene.
I think for me initially when a lot of the images started coming out, and we've been involved with some teams there who had boots on the ground, and I remember there was some video of an area that I knew intimately in Western North Carolina, and when they sent the video, I didn't know what I was looking at, and it was stunning to me to see this area that I grew up in, that I knew, that I no longer recognized. And there's a lot of stories like that, and a lot of videos, and a lot of devastation, and a lot of stories from, you know, families and bad things that have happened. But there's also a lot of good stories. There's also a lot of stories about people helping each other that are amazing stories. And as I said when I started, the strength of the people there and the character of the people there is unlike anywhere in the world. That's the place that made me. That's the place that made the music that made me. And you know, it's both of our absolute goal, and we're hell-bent and determined to make sure that we get it back to what we remember and to what it can be going forward.
Yeah, personal stories. There's so many, you know, especially I remember when the news coverage was just starting, and there was kind of this image that was, or video that was being circulated from all over of this specific area in Asheville, South Tunnel Road, just below the Asheville Mall where it meets Swarno River Road. There's a Walgreens on one side of Tunnel Road, and there's a U-Haul dealership on the other side. And I actually worked one summer at that particular U-Haul dealership. I got fired from that job, and I came home and told my parents.
From a U-Haul job?
I did get fired from a U-Haul job. And I came home, I was probably 20 years old, and I told my parents I got laid off, and they knew that was a lie immediately. But it was so sobering to see so many places that I walked with my own 2 feet, especially in Asheville. You know, the Manna Food Bank being one. Me and my mom volunteered there. She would take me there on the weekends, and we would, you know, sort boxes in their warehouse. So I spent a lot of time there. Just one of the reasons that I spent, you know, that's one of the charities that I chose, right, is their whole facility was essentially washed away, right, in this event. And but I have so many amazing memories in Asheville and in Boone, obviously going to school at Appalachian State. And yeah, go Apps, baby. They're playing today. They're going to beat Georgia State today for sure. My manager went to Georgia State, and I've won $100 from him every year for how many years, Chris? 9 years straight. Hoping it's 10 today. So looking at a cool G today. I'll be donating that cool G today, Chris, if we take the win home. I hope you would donate your winnings, Chris, if they were to beat us today, which I doubt. But it's, yeah, very special place for me. A lot of memories there, and you know, I just hate to see it in the condition that it's in, and I'm glad to be able to help in any way I can.
Well, thank you all for what you were doing tonight and beyond that. I know it means a lot to so many people. And thank you all for being here to cover this event. We really appreciate it. So now we got to let these guys get ready for the concert. I'm sure they want to go find James Taylor as well. Thank you all.
I'm not allowed to go around there.
All right, thank you so much.